Hey everyone, this is a short demo to go over the basics of HTML. This will be very introductory. So it'll be a good refresher if you have a little bit of experience with HTML, but it will also show you the very beginnings in case you don't have much or any experience with HTML. For this semester, you're going to be maintaining a process journal in the form of an HTML-based website. And so what you'll do is you'll build and design and then add to this website throughout the course of this semester. What we're going to do in this demo is get the initial homepage set up as well as the first week's page just to show you the structure. So what I want to do is start out by talking about the file and folder structure, because anytime you're working with media, especially, the way that you organize your files and the way that you name your files becomes really important. Everything depends on the naming process of other files. So you can't get away with stuff in the same ways that you can with, say, some of the other design programs. Similar to how After Effects or Premiere or InDesign work, all of these things are linked resources. And so naming and organizing them well not only makes everything run efficiently, but it makes your projects easier to pick up, and it makes it much easier when you're working with collaborators. So I'm going to start from the very beginning. I'm going to make a new folder for the semester. So we'll say 2021 spring. And then I'm also going to make a folder for this class. So we'll call it 484, 584, media design. And then I'm going to make a folder for projects. So we'll say 01 projects. Now I like to start my folders with a number so that I can keep them in some kind of an order. They by default will be in alphabetical order. I like column view, and I like to put numbers or dates at the beginning of my file or my folder and file names so that I can keep them in some sort of a running order. So we'll call this projects, and then our first project is going to be 01 process journal website. Now, this is where we will work on this project throughout the course of the semester. We'll get it set up today. We'll learn some more design things over the next couple of weeks. And then as the semester goes on, as we're doing more and more projects, you will add every week, you will have an assignment to add your week's progress and your week's process to your website. So essentially what you're going to need is you're going to need a folder for each week. Now, in this case, because now we're looking at from this folder forward, from the Process Journal website folder forward, this is your website. So now we have to follow web conventions for naming, which means that everything is case sensitive. So I'm going to name mine week 1. Another thing about naming things for the web is no spaces. So you'll notice it's all lowercase and there's no spaces. So that's what we need to get started with for the file folder and organization. So then I'm going to flip over to my code editor. And for these, I'm going to use brackets. There's a number of really great editors out there. There's Sublime Edit, there's BB Edit, but brackets works really well for this setup, partially because it has this feature of live preview. So I've got brackets installed already. I've got it open. When it opens to this initial welcome page where it kind of tells you a little bit about how the program works, and you can go through that on your own if you like. But what we're going to do is click on this getting started, and we're going to say open folder. And I am going to surf to the folder that I just made, and I'm going to stop at the website level because I want all of this to show up in the left bar, and you'll see that in a moment. So now I have a folder here that I have access to through the program, but I haven't created any files yet. I haven't created any HTML files yet. So we're going to create our first HTML file. So go to File New or Command N, and then when we save it, we automatically have the menu here set to the default for our folder / web page. So I'm going to name this index.html, and this is important. The index page is like the way you name the default page for any directory that's on a website. There's a couple others, but this is the one that we're going to stick with for now. I should also say there are a lot of things that we're going to learn sort of the most direct way to do it. And when we're working in this environment, there's a lot of different ways to do similar things. And as we learn more, then we can add in more and more elements of efficiency, more and more elements of conventional standards. What we're worried about right now is getting something up and running that works successfully. So I'm going to save an index.html page to this top level of my website directory right here. And once I've done that, you'll notice the page shows up here. So as I make more and more files in my website, they'll all line up here, and then I can easily access them and open them. Okay, so now I can start typing out my HTML code. And the first thing that I need to do is type in an HTML tag. And what an HTML tag is the way that you mark up text in HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and starting with HTML brackets at the top and the bottom allows us to tell the web browser that this is an HTML file. So every file is going to have this, every HTML file is going to have this at the beginning and the end, and all the work that we do is going to happen in between the HTML tags. Now in between those, there's two other tags that we're going to use, which is the head and the body. So the head is information about the page that does not show up in the page itself. The body is what shows up in the browser. So in here, this is where when we put information, when we put text, when we put HTML code, when we put embed tags, those are the things that show up to the end user, and that all happens in the body. So at this point, I'm going to save the file by hitting Command S. And then I'm also going to click the live preview button so that as I add stuff, I can start seeing it live in the browser window here. And this is what Brackets does really, really well. So for the first thing I'm going to add is in the head, I'm going to add a title for the page, and I'm going to call it Alex Braidwood Process Journal Media Design, spelled closer to correctly. And you'll notice as I type my head here, or as I type my title, what the title does is it tells the browser what the title of this page is. You'll notice it shows up here in the tab, right? That's what the title does. You'll also notice if you're in the Windows, it's what shows up there. So it tells the browser, it tells the program what the title of this page is, but it does not show up in the body. It does not show up in the actual like viewport window of the browser. So then here in body, this is where I can make something show up. So I'm just going to put my name, and you'll notice as I type my name, it shows up here. So I like to space these out a little bit so that it's easier to see. Now everything that we want to show up here is going to go between the body. These tags get referred to as the open tag and the close tag, as in like start being the body, stop being the body. So here, I'm also going to list the class. So I'll say artgr 484/584 media design. We'll say 2021 spring process journal. Now, you'll notice I hit the enter key to add new lines here within the code, but those do not show up as new lines here. And that's because just because there's a new line here does not mean that the browser is going to make a line break. If we want a line break, we have to explicitly say that with the HTML tag for break, which is BR. So you notice as soon as I type BR, now there is a line break there. So we'll say break, break. Just go through and put breaks at the end of these, like that. So you'll see now I have my different bits of information are on different lines of the window here. Also going to hit save again just to make sure that I have that. So we talked a little bit about tags having like an open and a close. You can also start to use tags for just the littlest bit of formatting. So here we have the body open and the body close. Let's say I want my last name to be bolded. The way that that works in HTML is using the strong tag. Now, Brackets does this autocomplete thing, so I can copy and paste it to the end, and you'll notice up here that my last name got bolded. The last thing that I want to show you for this part of the video is there are the way that you control the way that the content looks, colors, fonts, things like that is within the style. For now, we're going to put style in this page. And then later, we will look at how to do this more efficiently. So first, we're going to make a style tag. And we're going to style the body. And if I start typing, you'll notice that the menu comes up, the contextual menu comes up to help with autocomplete. So what I'm wanting to do now is I want to change the background color. So if I start typing back, I can go to color. I get this great menu. You can do color as hexadecimal colors, which start with a hashtag and then have numbers and letters, or you can do colors by name. And there's a number of colors that you can access by name. So if you do background dash color and then a colon, change the background color. And if you want to change the color of the text, that's just the word color, because in the very earliest days of HTML, that's all you could change the color of was the type, essentially. So if I want all my type to be fuchsia, you'll notice now all my text is fuchsia and the background color is aqua. So we've got some style information and we've got the very beginnings of our first HTML page.